Hey everybody, Steve here for Who Took My Dice Miniature Wargaming, and welcome to an all-new Tactica. This one is going to feature the Space Marine Scouts. So the inspiration for this video came from a conversation I had with Freak from Frost and Fist, a good friend of mine. He's having trouble getting the most out of his Scouts in the battlefield. Scouts are one of those interesting units that really is kind of coming to its own in 8th edition. They're a fantastic unit. The options they have for different tactics is fantastic. We're going to look at them. But they're also sort of changed, in a way, how they function on the battlefield and what their roles are. In older editions, they were all they're sort of a disruptive unit. They could infiltrate in, still had sort of all the same options, but you know, for instance, with sniper rifles, they're good at pinning units, slowing the advance of certain units. Great for taking out larger units. You could pin a whole unit, get them just stuck there for a while. A lot of that's changed. They're still disruptive, but in a different way. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to flip down to the table in just a moment, and we're going to see some tactics I use, and just how they're a bit different. The different things you can do within each of the 8th edition. So here we go. I hope you guys enjoy, and we're going to take a look at some of these tactics. So let's set the scene here. So we have these unfortunately unpainted cultists and their leader. I'm going to actually use them representing guard, just because the rules are a bit easier to remember. This guy here will be your Lord Commissar. Now on their own, they're not too bad, but backed up by this Commissar, they're actually a bit of a trick to handle. They get to use his leadership, and also while they're within, I believe 6 inches, it actually, they lose less models to morale loss. Now I know this rule has been updated with FAQs and all that, but I'm just kind of going for the tactical effect and not total rules correctivity here, if you know what I mean. So facing them, I got 2 5-man scout squads. One's armed with sniper rifles, the other one's armed for more of a close combat feel. There's some interesting things to note about scouts. Right? The basic stat line of a standard Marine, except a 4+ armor save instead of a 3+. Interesting enough, 5 of them is power level 6, as opposed to tactical squad's power level 5. There's a couple of reasons for this. The main one is concealed positions. These guys are basically allowed to infiltrate anywhere without outside of 9 inches of an enemy unit, which can be pretty devastating when used correctly. Armament-wise, they actually can be give you more, I should say, tactical options than a tactical squad, as they can be armed with heavy weapons, such as a missile launcher and a heavy bolter. You can have the sniper rifles, the shotguns, combat blades, so they can be outfitted for all close combat, long range, mid-range, anywhere in between. So really, they are quite a fantastic unit for Space Marine players. The important thing to note about the sniper rifles, these are very awesome weapons, and they do indicate kind of what the role of this unit is. So they're 36-inch range, they're strength 4, there's no AP reduction to them, they do 1 damage. However, the big thing is they allow you to target characters, such as this Bonnie guy right here. So that's an important thing. In 8th, as most of you know, it's harder to target characters. As long as they're not the closest unit, and they don't have 10 wounds or more, you can't target them. Sniper rifles allow you to do that. Also, on a roll of a 6 to wound, you cause a mortal wound in addition to the normal damage. So these guys have the potential each to cause 2 damage with their shots, which would be rather devastating to guys like him. And so that is what they should be doing. That's their disruptive ability now, is taking out units with aura abilities, right? The other thing is, another nice little thing, is that because of the changed rules and movement with heavy weapons, these guys can actually move, keeping them out of danger from assault, and still, while there is a reduction in their efficiency, can still fire these nice weapons. So for instance, in this situation, I would take these 4 guys and target him. Now they're hitting on 3+. Their weapons are strength 4, he's toughness 3, so I have a good chance of doing some wounds. So let's say in this instance, I do manage to remove him from the board. Alright, he's dead. Suddenly, this unit down here doesn't seem like the same threat. They're now using their leadership, which is normally a maximum of 7, and the ability to sort of ignore the damaging effects of morale is gone. They're a lot more vulnerable now, and that's a good thing, right? So that is the main tactic with these guys. Use it to take out characters, to wound characters, to do whatever you can. Now you can still use them if necessary on standard units, cause some mortal wounds, take some guys out, reduce numbers obviously, and obviously with the ability to shoot at pretty much any guy can shoot at pretty much anything they want. You can even split it up, 2 guys on a character, hoping for those mortal wounds, 2 guys on this unit, and that brings us to these guys down here. So our close combat guys. 2 guys with shotguns, the rest with close combat weapons. I like this build for them. I always have, even back in the older editions. Especially like it now with the change to shotguns. They can actually put out a surprising amount of attacks and damage in both the shooting and combat phase. So, for instance, if I decide to move these guys out, we'll do that. So they decide to move out. They're going to assault. Just move them out. Alright. Out they come. Obviously you can open up with the bolt pistols. The cool thing about shotguns, and why I always recommend taking them, is, I mean, they have the standard same sort of stats as a bolter or a bolt pistol. Their range is 12. Strength 4, again, 0 on the AP, and 1 damage. Except the shotguns are assault 2, which is great. The bonus to them, this is why I like taking them, especially if I'm going to have an assault unit, is that when they're 6 inches, within 6 inches or less, they become strength 5. Now against guardments, this really doesn't make much of a difference. They're wounding on 3s no matter what, but it does start giving you an edge against things like orcs, other Astartes, whether they're heretical or not, or anything that has, you know, is toughness 4, and all of a sudden, up close, you have the bit of edge. So let's say they shoot, and I remove, let's say, a number of guys, right? I've already done some damage, then I can charge in, like this, move everybody in, and from there, the battle's pretty much mine. I think I'd be confident enough to say between all the attacks, I would probably be able to wipe that unit out. If not in combat, at least with the morale roll that would come after. And that's another tactic, using them together. Have one unit take out the characters, soften up the enemy units, and then have the smaller assault unit come in. And this works with any unit. You can have a tactical squad there instead, or a dedicated assault unit, assault squad, what have you. Reavers even. But yeah, so those are a couple of the simple tactics I like to use. Now the other thing, again with moving, say this unit of villains here, the bad guys, managed to get up close, and I was in danger of saying being either outnumbered or what have you. I'll move them up here quickly. Nope, he fell over. And I was in danger of being swarmed, outnumbered, caught in close combat where these guys will obviously not be all that good. I can, again, move them, as I said before. Let's say I move them up here. Alright. Say I have range of an assault, and I still get to fire those weapons. Now it is -1, so they'd be hitting on a 4+, but again, the beautiful thing is I can still actually get use of it out of them. They're not just stuck there doing nothing as in older editions. It's an important thing to remember. For any heavy weapon, you can move, you can still shoot, which has made Marines very, very mobile and very, very dangerous. But yeah, so those are some of the very simple tactics I use. I hope you guys got something out of that. And I'm going to flip around again. Alright, so I hope that helps, guys. I really hope that helps you get a little bit more out of your scouts if you use them. And to Freak, I hope, honestly and sincerely, this allows you to get some more enjoyment out of your scouts. They're a fantastic unit. Now you play Imperial Fist, so you do have some extra bonuses. Your chapter tactic helps them. Infantry, your opponents don't get their cover saves, right? Which is great. So those characters, such like an Imperial Guard or Orc Knob or whatever, won't get those bonuses to armor. You don't have to worry so much about your 0 AP, right? I believe also Lysander, being a named character, you can actually use a there is a warlord tactic for him, which I think actually helps them with their shooting as well. You'll have to look that up. But yeah, so that's the Tactica for Scouts. So I hope I've shown that Scouts can be a very versatile unit. If you use them properly, you put them where they're supposed to, and you use them in conjunction with other units, they're a fantastic unit to have for Space Marine Army. One I highly recommend. I've used Scouts for a very, very long time. You saw they had some of the newer plastics that have been around for a while, and some even older metal ones. I also add Tellian in there myself, being an all-terrain player, and he just makes them that much more deadly. But yeah, a great unit, a fantastic addition to any Space Marine army, and I highly recommend them. I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, subscribe if you liked what you saw, like the video, share it with your friends, hit the little bell so you get the updates. And, you know, as always, guys, keep rolling those dice, and we'll see you later. Bye.